When you start to learn marketing, one of the things that you're going to notice is that everyone, not everyone, most marketing experts try to get you to just make money as soon as possible, which I understand because you want to make money as soon as possible. So it makes sense that they're teaching you, all right, do these things and it'll make people buy, make people convert, make people spend money on your product as soon as possible. So things end up being, you got to buy within 48 hours. Otherwise, you lose this massive bonus. Oh, the shopping cart is closed. Oh, a few days later, it's back up again, but only for 48 hours. Oh, then it's closed again. Then it's open again. Or you're using marketing funnels where you're at getting people to sign up for your email list by dangling some carrot in front of them, some really juicy thing, and then sending them some really well-programmed emails that is intended to sell them on that very next thing that you want them to buy. So there are these tactics that we've all experienced as consumers that if any tactic doesn't feel right to you, but then you're being taught to do that thing to other people, it is the very violation of the golden rule, right? And no wonder you don't feel good about it. You know, something's off. It's like, I wouldn't want that done to me or my, family members or my friends, but I'm doing this to other people. It doesn't feel right. But we are taught, oh, that's the way you make money. That's how you get a business to work. I understand because that's how I did it in the beginning, because that's all I knew. I didn't know there was a better way. I didn't know there was authentic business and authentic marketing. So I used scarcity, persuasion, fear, sowing doubt and uncertainty in people in order to get them to buy. That was what happened when I started my business 10, 11 years ago. I didn't know any better. And well, guess what? It does make some short-term sales. It does work. And so even though it felt off to me, I kept doing it for several years because I didn't know any better. And I thought, hey, it's working. I'm making money. And all the business teachings around me are about profit, profit, profit. How do you make a profit? How do you make more money? And what happened was I realized after a few years of doing it that I had not built a real audience that was loyal, that actually cared about my sort of message, my personality, my brand in the long term. They just bought because I dangled some really juicy carrot or the offer sounded so amazing that they would be stupid not to buy, that kind of stuff. So I had to launch my service again and again, quarter after quarter, year after year. I just have to keep launching in order to have enough clients. It was so much work. It was so exhausting to have to keep launching all the time. If you've ever learned how to launch from a typical marketing expert, you look at all the steps, you're like, this sounds exhausting. This is terrible. Like, it's so much work. Now my launches are way more minimal than the way that it's typically taught out there, the way that I used to do it as well. So here's the sort of core lesson for this video. If you focus on building trust and building relationship with your audience, you will be happier in the long term and have a better business. I can say this now with 11 years of full-time experience in building my business. I couldn't have said it. I didn't know about that in years 1, 2, or 3. But it wasn't until years 5, 6, 7, I realized, oh, wow. If I had started building a real audience in years 1, 2, and 3, things would have been so much easier in the following years. But I basically had to start over in year, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had to start over in year 5, year 6. I started over because I didn't really have an audience. I just sold a bunch of products and services, but I used the tactics that many of you are learning, maybe, who knows, from other people the ones that I learned from other people that were it felt off. It didn't. So any marketing strategy, any marketing tactic that feels off to you, it doesn't feel like, yeah, I wouldn't want to receive that marketing tactic I wouldn't want to be in the consumer's shoes. If you ever feel that way, like I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want that done unto me. Then don't do that to other people. Find another way. Ask me and I'll offer you a different way so that you can try it. Building the relationship with your audience is so much more important, because then you won't have to do what I do, which is start over and start from scratch again. And I really started building my audience. You all really started in 2015. So it was really 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, really started over in year 7. Now year 6, I started doing a little bit, but year 7 really started with creating content. Like I said, the way that I do things today, watch how I do it. And of course, I try to describe how I do it, which is to build loyalty, to build trust, to build a friendship with my audience by blessing you all with content on a regular basis. I hope content that is helpful to you, that inspires you to be your best, that gives you hope that the authentic, successful business that you want is possible. So that's what I try to do. And it has been working since 2015. As I've done it, what I've noticed is that when I focus my marketing on building trust and building a relationship with my audience through content, what happens is I build a real audience over time. It does take time. So that's the reason why so many growth hackers, have you heard that term before? Growth hacking. Growth hacking means to use scarcity and persuasion and various other short-term tactics to get money quickly, to get sales quickly, to get an audience quickly, but to use those short-term tactics that you probably wouldn't enjoy being used on you or your family members. So that's growth hacking, to use short-term things that, like, that's why they call it hacking. Well, it sounds violent because it kind of is, right? It's emotionally violent. It violates, often it violates a long-term trust with people. So having started my authentic business, really, even though I started my business 2009 and I've been full-time since then, I crashed and burned with those scarcity tactics and the mainstream marketing. And I really started over in 2015. So since 2015, when I started building an authentic audience, everything has gotten easier over time. Now, like I said, the first year or two is not as easy. When you're doing things from the heart, it's not as easy for the numbers. It's not as easy to make money. I have to be honest with you. It's not as easy to make money when you're doing things from the heart, because money is very more left brain. It's more controlling. It's more kind of boundaries and things like that. And not that so, but if you do things from the heart and from the spirit, you make money easier in the long term. So wasn't until year 2 and 3 that I started of my authentic business. So 2015, I worked really hard, create content on a consistent basis. I did that for a year and a half before I started noticing, oh, I no longer had to launch my service. People were automatically coming to me through my content and saying, George, can I work with you? It started happening about a year and a half, 2 years later. So I don't know if you're patient enough to create content consistently for a year and a half to 2 years before you start noticing, oh, people are just contacting me regularly without me having to always sell, always launch, always try to get clients, etc. So since the end of 2016, start of 2017, I haven't had to ask for clients and try to get people in terms of my one-to-one. I still launch courses on a regular basis, but those are, hey, this is happening this month. If you want to take the course with me this month, this is what we're doing this month. But in terms of my one-to-one service and my group program, I haven't had to outreach for a couple of years now, because people just come to me, and because of my content and because of the relationships I've built with my audience, and if they spread the word, a loyal audience is is everything. It really is everything. If you build a loyal and trusting audience, which means you bring you bring a presence that is trustworthy, then your marketing and your business gets easier over time. It truly does. So I'll hopefully this is inspiring to you, and I hope that you will take this and remember that building trust, building a relationship, a long-term relationship with your audience is more important than making the sale in the short term. So don't use any marketing tactics that you would regret. And I want to just thank you all for joining me. Those who are watching live, thanks to Gord and Nancy. Appreciate your presence there. That's it. All right. I wish you well. My name is George Kao. For those of you who don't know me, authentic business coach. I love talking about how to build business in an authentic way, and in a way that, like I said, gets easier over time. Even though in the beginning it's not as easy. In the beginning, it's hard work. But you know what? I'll end with this. Even though it's hard work in the beginning, you make less money. I'm telling it as it is. You make less money in the first year or two doing it this way versus doing it the sales funnel way. Yeah, sales funnels make money faster. I'm sorry, it's true. Persuading people makes money faster. Using scarcity, the false scarcity, there's authentic scarcity, false scarcity, but using false scarcity that's pressure driven makes money faster. But this way it makes money slower, but you make money much easier and full-time. I mean, I'm much happier. So in other words, my business today is way more sustainable and thriving, and like my heart is good, my mind is good, my conscience is good, versus the original way of, mainstream business is stress, anxiety, guilt, money, lots of money. Okay, you kind of trade your anxiety, you kind of trade your conscience for money. Okay, you could do it that way. All right, and that lots of people do it that way, and that's why they have high stress. They they get into drug addictions, and they all that stuff that you may have known people or heard people who focus on the money, focus on the profit. Yeah, they make money for sure. Yeah, absolutely, but it's anxious, stress, addictions, and lack of loyalty. So I hope that if you do it the heart-centered way, there's a huge benefit that I'll end this video with: your spiritual growth, if I could say it that way, or your personal development, however you want to say it. You build more wisdom, courage, love, compassion, persistence, joy, calm focus. You build all those things while in the first couple years of working hard. Okay, working hard, working long hours. It's true. Now, with plenty of breaks, but still long hours, plenty of breaks, self-care. That's what you learn also if you do it the right way, if you do it the joyful productivity way, which is the way I teach it. You work hard, you work joyfully productive, you work with self-care, you work with good boundaries, but you know that the money isn't coming until years 2 or 3. Are you okay with that? That mean you might need to get money a different way for now. Or alternatively, and this is either going a little long, but if you need to make money sooner, the heart-based way, then you need to work even harder to reach out one-to-one. You need to reach out one-to-one to people, because it's about relationship. If you want to do it the heart-based way, the way that you would be proud of in a few years, and certainly very proud of at the end of your life, and that spirit, your spirit, capital S, is proud of, then you need to build relationships one-to-one fast. So if you want to make money fast and heart-based, you need to build relationships fast and heart-based, one-to-one, not pressuring people, but just reaching out to a ton of people. Okay, a ton of people, hundreds of people you need to reach out to one-to-one thoughtfully. So that's the alternative. Either do it the content-based way, wait for 2 years, 2 or 3, or build it faster, authentically, one-to-one outreach to hundreds or thousands of people, and not hearing back, being rejected, all that stuff. But that's harder, much harder, but it does work in the short term. So Cynthia, good to have you here as well. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for joining me. Take care.